Hello everyone, this is Rick and today we are going to discuss about Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. Now for us all Indians, establishment of a Ram temple in Ayodhya is a very significant cultural event. So we need to get an idea about the timeline of the processes which led to the consecration ceremony of Lord Ram in Ayodhya in January 2004. So let's get into details. Before knowing about how the Ram temple was established, it is important to know who is Lord Ram. He is the incarnation of Vishnu. Ram is considered the seventh avatar of Hindu god Vishnu. He is revered for his virtuous nature and respect for dharma. Here, dharma does not mean religion, it means duty or righteousness. He is also considered to be an ideal king and a hero. In the epic Ramayana, Ram is portrayed as ideal son, husband, and a king. His reign in Ayodhya is referred to as Ram Rajya, symbolizing a period of peace and prosperity. So it was during his reign in Ayodhya that righteousness prevailed and there was a sense of duty among people, and he is considered to be Maryada Purushottam, or the elevated form of human being. And all those Swami Vivekananda has said that the greatest achievement would be in life if you are trying to be like Lord Ram. So, exile and conquest. A significant part of Ram's life story involves his 14-year exile, which was accompanied by his wife Sita and brother Lakshman. During this period, he faced various challenges and battles with demons, including the demon king Ravana, and he established his supremacy over all of them. So that is how he was. On the orders of his father, Emperor Dasharath, he set out to a 14 years exile. Now, what are the moral and ethical values we can learn from Lord Ram? Ram is often cited as an embodiment of truth, morality, and an ideal character. As I said, he is called to be the Maryada Purushottam. His life and teachings are a guide for right conduct and behavior in Hindu culture or in Indian culture also. Now, what is the significance of Lord Ram? The story of Ram and Ramayana has a profound impact on Indian culture and religious practices. Lord Ram is worshipped across many regions all over the Indian subcontinent, and nowadays his influence and his respect has spread worldwide also. So, let's get into details about what is the big deal about this Ram temple in Ayodhya. Now, the Ayodhya is the birthplace of Lord Ram, and there was a temple dedicated to Lord Ram from about 1000 AD, and a mosque was constructed over it by Mughal Emperor Babur in the place which is associated with Janmasthan, means birthplace of Ram, and which is believed to be birthplace of Lord Ram. These accounts suggest that a mosque was built on a site which previously housed a large temple, including the temple of Janmasthan, which is considered to be original birthplace of Ram. So there are evidences regarding the fact that there was a Ram temple in the Ramkot area of Ayodhya, which is the original birthplace of Lord Ram. And when Babur became the Mughal emperor in 1526, he had a tendency to destroy all the revered holy places of Hinduism and establish mosque over it. So that was what happened in this site of Ayodhya. These details that there was a Ram temple which has been destroyed by Babur, these details are mentioned in various old sources such as the writings of Mirza Zain in Wajid Ali Shah or Unka Ahad, and others like Fasana-e-Ibarat and Jia-e-Akhtar. So all these texts mention document this event where Babur destroyed the Ram temple in the birthplace of Ram and built a mosque over it. Mir Baki was a general of Babur who destroyed the Ram Mandir in Ramkot of Ayodhya in the year of 1528, and there was a mosque built over it which was popularly named as Babri Masjid. So this was the details about how the temple in the birthplace of Lord Ram was destroyed as a result of Islamic conquest and proving Islamic supremacy over the local culture. Hence, this was the original fact, and it has been recorded in various texts and folk tales of the time. Next comes what happened during the British rule. So, the first instance of communal violence regarding the Babri Masjid or the Ram Janmabhoomi temple happened in 1853, and it was related to the Babri Masjid site in Ayodhya. What happened? The Nirmohis, a Hindu sect of sadhus, claimed that a Hindu temple had been destroyed during the reign of Emperor Babur, and the mosque was built over it. So Nirmohis are a Hindu sect of sadhus who first projected on the fact that the Babri Masjid has been made by destroying the original temple of Lord Ram. The British at that time, there was British government, it was the colonial period in 1853. They installed a fence around the site to separate the disputed area into two sections. Now Britishers did not have any knowledge about Indian culture and history. They tried to modify the history according to their own terms and need, and by doing so in 1859 they couldn't find a solution regarding the dispute of the temple site in Ayodhya. Hence they separated the area with a fence, and in that fence Muslim received access to pray inside the mosque while Hindus were given the outer court for their use. So the site of Babri Masjid was divided, and inside the Muslims offered namaz and outside the Hindus prayed to Lord Ram. That was the solution that was the solution that was given by the British Empire. So Ram Lalla idols. This happened one night on the night of 22nd December 1949. Idols of Lord Rama and Sita appeared inside the Babri Masjid, which was followed by a significant shift in the site's use and perception among the public. So there was an idol of Lord Ram and his wife Mata Sita, and it suddenly appeared on the night of December 22 inside the area of Babri Masjid. Hence, people demanded, the Hindus especially, we demanded that the temple should be given to the Hindus for use, for praying. And Gopal Singh Visharad brought the case to Faizabad court. He sought permission for devotees to worship the idol. So this was one of the major important cases which was filed in Faizabad court, where Gopal Singh Visharad sought the permission of devotees, the permission of the court so that the devotees could worship the idol inside the mosque. Hasim Ansari from Ayodhya, from the Muslim side, petitions the court for removal of the idols, arguing that the structure should continue to function as a mosque. So from the Muslim side, Hasim Ansari of Ayodhya argued the fact that the idols should be removed from inside the mosque premises, and the structure which was made by Babur after destroying the temple should function as a mosque. The authorities secured the site, but made provisions for priests to carry out daily worship rituals. So the authorities, the court, upon the direction of the court, the government secured the site, and they allowed the priest of the Ram Lalla to carry out daily worship rituals. And as you can see in the image on the left hand side, the idol was kept in a tent. So for many years, decades rather, the idol stayed in a tent and it was worshipped by the priest from Ayodhya. Clear by Muslims. Now the Muslim side debated on their for of the issue. In 1961, the Sunni Central Waqf Board filed a lawsuit in Faizabad Civil Court seeking to reclaim the Babri Mosque as the property of the board and restoration of the property to the Muslims. So Sunni Central Waqf Board is an organization that looks after the property of the Muslims. Hence, in 1961, they filed a lawsuit in Faizabad claiming that the area or the site which was previously Ram Mandir and then a Babri Masjid was the property of Muslims, and hence they demanded ownership of the structure and the area along with it. The mosque had been locked by the government, but daily puja by priest was permitted. So by then, what was the situation? After the discovery of Ram Lalla idols, the mosque had been locked by the government, and daily puja by the priest was permitted by keeping the idol of Ram Lalla in a tent. This case was the pivotal part of long-standing legal dispute over the land, which many Hindus believe is the birthplace of Lord Ram. And so the dispute was ongoing, and Hindus believed it to be the birthplace of Lord Ram, which was in one case true, and the Muslims refused to give out the ownership of the land. The legal battle continued for decades, with numerous suits filed by various parties, leading to the mosque gates being opened to Hindu worshippers in 1980s. So in 1980s, the finally the gate of the mosque was opened to the Hindus, but this was a very controversial decision because it was a decision taken by the then government as a strategy to win election. Now, what was the campaign to rebuild the temple? How was the campaign to rebuild the temple? In 1980s, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, which is a nationalist organization of the Hindus, began a campaign to reconstruct a temple at Ayodhya, which is considered to be the birthplace of Lord Ram. So this organization, very influential and popular organization called Vishwa Hindu Parishad, which means organization of Hindus all over the world, they demanded and started a campaign to reconstruct the temple at Ayodhya. In 1986, a plea by Hari Shankar Dubey led to a district judge's ruling that allowed the Hindus to enter and perform rituals in the Babri Mosque inner courtyard. So in 1986, a man named Hari Shankar Dubey got permission from the court to enter the Babri Masjid and worship the idol of Lord Ram in the Babri Mosque inner courtyard. The Babri Mosque Action Committee was formed by the Muslims in order to challenge the court's decision where the court allowed the Hindus to worship inside the mosque. So that is how the Muslims registered in the form of Babri Masjid Action Committee. Now, what was the strategy of then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi? So here you will have to understand that there was a story there was a previous story. The unlocking of Babri Masjid gates in 1986 is attributed to a court order, but was perceived as a political decision by the Congress government to appease the Hindu sentiments. This was after the Sahabano case, where the government's decision to pass the Muslim women Protection of the Rights on Divorce Act in 1986 was seen as a move to appease Muslim clerics which had influenced Hindu sentiment. So there was a woman named Shahabanu, and she was a progressive Muslim woman who demanded her rights in the case of divorce from her husband, and this was not liked by the Muslim clerics. And even though the Supreme Court of India gave the judgment in favor of Shahabanu, but still Rajiv Gandhi, in order to appease the conservative Muslim clerics, altered the decision and did not pass the law. Hence, the conservative Muslim clerics were very happy with Rajiv Gandhi, and that angered the Hindus. So, in order to appease the angry Hindus, he suddenly opened the gate of Babri Masjid for the Hindus to worship. The court decision to unlock the gates, which had not been acted upon for decades, was suddenly executed, allowing Hindu worshippers to access the site. So even though there was a court decision, but suddenly Rajiv Gandhi took action on that decision and opened the gates to Hindu people for worship of Lord Ram. In 1989, Rajiv Gandhi launched his election campaign from Ayodhya, which was interpreted as an attempt to balance the previous appeasement of Muslim clerics and regain Hindu support. So, as I have said, he altered the court's decision in order to satisfy the conservative Muslim clerics. This angered the Hindus. So, to satisfy or to appease the Hindus, he opened the gate of the Babri Masjid for the Hindus to worship, and after that, in 1989, he launched his election campaign from Ayodhya itself. Rajiv Gandhi's decision to allow Shilanash or founding stone laying near the disputed site was also a part of this political strategy. So he laid the foundation stone of the temple without thinking about the consequences. It is suggested by some that the actual decision to unlock the Babri Masjid was influenced by Congress party members, particularly by Arun Nehru, who was also a relative of Rajiv Gandhi, cousin of Rajiv Gandhi, and he later joined the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP). So the Congress somehow managed to open the gates by influencing the court decisions. So this was a political strategy by Rajiv Gandhi in order to get the Hindu support, which he was supposedly had lost, and therefore, in order to appease the Hindus, he, without thinking about the future consequences, suddenly opened the gate of Babri Masjid for the Hindus to worship inside it. Now, foundation of temple 1989. Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Now, the action of Rajiv Gandhi fueled the Hindu nationalist organization to take actions against the masjid and established the Ram temple. So Vishwa Hindu Parishad laid the foundation for a Ram temple on the land adjacent to the Babri Masjid. The effort was led by Justice Devaki Nandan Agarwal, who was the former VHP or president of Vishwa Hindu Parishad. So Vishwa Hindu Parishad led the foundation for the Ram temple in 1989 on a land adjacent to Babri Masjid. What had happened? Agarwal had filed a case for the relocation of the mosque, leading to the transfer of 4 pending suits in Faizabad court to a special high court bench in Allahabad. So Agarwal had argued on the fact that mosque can be built anywhere. Ayodhya was not related to Islamic history by any means, hence the mosque can be transferred anywhere else, but birthplace of Ram was fixed in Ayodhya itself, hence Hindus had the sole right over the area. Therefore, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad led on the directions of Devaki Nandan Agarwal led the foundation of Ram temple on the land adjacent to Babri Masjid. The foundation laying was a part of a larger movement which was supported by a major political party and chief opponent of Congress, Bharatiya Janata Party, to construct the Ram temple at the site revered as the birthplace of Lord Ram. So VHP or Vishwa Hindu Parishad started the movement full-fledgedly, and it was supported and also joined together by Bharatiya Janata Party, which was a very influential political force at that time in India. So Rath Yatra 1990. What happened in the Rath Yatra incident? It was initiated by BJP President LK Advani or Lal Krishna Advani. The Rath Yatra started from Somnath in Gujarat, which is another revered holy site of the Hindus, to support the construction of Ram temple in Ayodhya, a movement which was spearheaded by Vishwa Hindu Parishad. So Lal Krishna Advani started a campaign from Somnath and went towards Ayodhya in order to support the construction of Ram temple. Thousands of volunteers from the Sangh Paribar joined as car sevaks, participated in the yatra, signaling a mass mobilization for the cause. So this rally was supported by thousands of Hindus from the Sangh Paribar, and they called themselves car sevaks, which means that they were the servants of God, and their sole mission in life was to re-establish the temple which had been destroyed by Mughal Emperor Babur. The Rath Yatra began on September 25, 1990, and it passed through numerous villages and cities, which was led by LK Advani, Lal Krishna Advani, addressing up to 6 rallies in a single day. So Lal Krishna Advani, the then president of Bharatiya Janata Party, started this Rath Yatra on September 25, 1990, and he addressed up to 6 rallies in a single day. On October 23, 1990, LK Advani was arrested on the orders of then Prime Minister VP Singh, which was not from his own party, with the authorization given to Lalu Prasad Yadav, the Chief Minister of Bihar, leading to his preventive custody as the possession entered Bihar from Uttar Pradesh. The then Prime Minister was VP Singh. He ordered the Chief Minister of the state of Bihar, Lalu Prasad, to arrest Lal Krishna Advani, and thus Lal Krishna Advani was placed in preventive custody when he was entering Bihar from Uttar Pradesh. Now, what happened in 1992? This is one of the most significant event regarding the issue of rebuilding of Ram temple in Ayodhya. That is demolition of the Babri Masjid. On December 6, 1992, the structure was brought down by a large group of car sevaks. So a large group of thousands of people gathered around the area of then Babri Masjid and razed it to the ground in December 6, 1992. The leaders from BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, and another political party from Maharashtra, Shiv Sena, and Vishwa Hindu Parishad were present, and they led the movement. The rally involved 1,50,000 Vishwa Hindu Parishad and Bharatiya Janata Party supporters at the site of Babri Masjid, and that escalated into the demolition of the masjid. The event led to communal riots across the country, not only in the country of India, but also riots happened in various parts of Indian subcontinent, and that resulted in the loss of over 2,000 lives. This incident led to significant shift in Indian politics, with BJP gaining the political ground. So this was one of the major event in which BJP or Bharatiya Janata Party came out as a strong political party, strong enough to challenge the dominion of Congress over the parliament. Now, division of the disputed site in 2010. The Allahabad High Court verdict was there, and the High Court ruled on four title suits regarding the Ayodhya dispute. So four parties had filed a case, and all those cases from Faizabad court was transferred to Allahabad High Court. And the verdict was that the disputed land was to be divided into three parts. One third for Ram Lalla, represented by Hindu Mahasabha, one third to the Islamic Waqf Board, and one third to Nirmohi Akhra, Nirmohi Akhra were the first sect that demanded for the Ram temple, and Sunni Waqf Board was fighting for the cause of Muslims, and another organization called Hindu Mahasabha was fighting for the cause of Ram Lalla. Hence, two-third of the land would go to the Hindus and one-third would go to the Muslim. But this decision was not prevailing because all the parties moved to Supreme Court. Following the verdict, both Akhil Bharatiya Hindu Mahasabha and Sunni Waqf Board filed petitions in the Supreme Court contesting High Court's decision. So all the parties were not at all happy with the verdict of Allahabad High Court, hence all of them went to Supreme Court. Now, what was the report by Archaeological Survey of India? Archaeological Survey of India is an organization that deals with materialistic remains of history in the Indian subcontinent before independence and now in the country of India only. So this organization, with its highly educated and expert investigators in the field of archaeology, conducted a detailed survey in the area in order to understand whether there was actually a temple before the masjid or not. And what was in that report? The evidence of a structure. ASI excavations indicated to the presence of a structure beneath the mosque area. So it was very clear that there was a presence of the temple, there was a presence of a ruined temple beneath the mosque, which was built by Babur. The artifacts and pillars were found, and various artifacts and pillars with carvings which reports suggested indicative to a temple. So Hindu temples have different kind of pillars where sculptures are there depicting scenes from various parts of Indian mythology. So such pillars were found from inside the ground, which indicated to the fact that there was a temple before the construction of the Babri Masjid. You can see on the left hand side the materialistic evidence of the old Ram Mandir which existed in the same place. Now, dating the structure, the ASI report proposed that the timeline of the structure beneath the Babri Masjid was consistent with the period of a temple. So from all this we come to know that there was a temple before the existence of Babri Masjid. Now, who were the archaeologists involved? There was a team of archaeologists who were there in the investigation of the temple. Notable among them was archaeologists like B.B. Lal and K.K. Muhammad, who proved the fact with materialistic investigation that there was a temple before the existence of Babri Masjid. So after the report by the ASI team, the Supreme Court, by analyzing the depth of the situation and various other arguments from different organizations from all the sides, gave the final verdict of Ram Mandir in Ayodhya in 2019. Now, what was in the judgment by Supreme Court? A five-judge bench led by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi ordered the disputed land in Ayodhya, which was the size of 2.77 hectares, to be handed over to a trust for the construction of Ram Janmabhoomi temple. So the order was very clear that the whole of the land will go to a trust, and that land will be used for the construction of Ram Janmabhoomi temple. And this was led, this judgment was given by a 5 judge bench, which was led by the Chief Justice of Supreme Court, Ranjan Gogoi. Now, land allocation for the mosque. So the for the Muslims, a separate land will be given by the government to provide 5 acres of alternative land to the Sunni Waqf board for building a mosque. So a separate land of 5 acres, which was almost double of the land in the land allocated for the Ram Janmabhoomi temple of Ayodhya, was allocated to the Sunni Waqf board. So 5 acres of land was allocated to the Sunni Waqf board so that they can build a mosque, and 2.77 acres of the disputed land was totally given to the Hindu side of the dispute in order to establish Ram Janmabhoomi temple. Now, bench and composition. Along with Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi, the bench included Justice S.A. Bobde, D.Y. Chandrachud, who is the current Chief Justice of Supreme Court, Ashok Bhushan, and S. Abdul Nazir. So all these very highly educated honorable judges of Supreme Court, very clearly by analyzing all the facts and reports presented in front of them, gave the judgment in support of building Ram Janmabhoomi temple over the disputed site, which had a size of 2.77 acres, and along with that they allocated 5 acres of land to the Muslims or to the Sunni Waqf board for a masjid to be built. Now, what was the name of the trust where land was allocated? The name of the trust was decided to be Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra, and it had 15 members. So from this judgment there was no more dispute, and everything had been cleared out plainly, that by very educated judges, by analyzing scientific reports from various parties, that the whole temple land belongs to the Hindus in order to construct a Ram Janmabhoomi temple over it. Now, Bhumi Pujan. After the judgment by the Supreme Court, the foundation stone laying ceremony or the Bhumi Pujan was done by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he laid the foundation stone for the Ram temple in Ayodhya. During the ceremony, PM Modi also unveiled a plaque and released a commemorative postal stamp. So it was during the time of COVID lockdown that Bhumi Pujan was done. Bhumi Pujan means a foundation stone laying ceremony, and that with that the temple construction for Lord Ram began in the same place where there was a temple which was raised by Mughal Emperor Babur. And after that, on January 22, 2024, Lord Ram's idol had been given life, which is called Pran Pratishtha. So on the left hand side of the slide you can see a picture which is the Ram temple, which is still under constructions, but the Garbhagriha or the sanctorium inside the temple has already been constructed, and so the idol of Lord Ram has been placed there. Along with that, there is a civilizational independence from the colonial dominion, first by the Islamic rulers and then by the Britishers. We got independence with the consecration ceremony of Lord Ram in January 22, 2024. Hence, that was the video, guys, and let me know whether you like it or not. It is a highly controversial topic, but all the controversies had been cleared by the Supreme Court of India. So we are free to give our opinion on this, and we respect views of every community, but the views and the judgment of the Indian Supreme Court comes front. Hence, this was the video about the Ram temple in Ayodhya and how it is being made. What are the series of events which led to the construction of Ram temple in Ayodhya? And support me as usual so that I can bring brighter contents in future. Thank you so much.